everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're so excited today. We are here to do one of our interviews where we get to talk to some of our favorite Hall stars. And today we are here to talk to Hickam himself. This is so exciting. We're here to talk to Ben Rosenbaum. And I'm Rachel, and Amber's here.
Hi, everybody. And yes, I am also shocked that I am still alive because this is amazing. I almost died. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Hickam.
We did it. the most epic interview that we could get. This is very exciting. So Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk with you guys.
So what we like to do.
And also, thank you for the warm introduction. I forgot that you refer to people as Hall stars, and I hope to live up to that someday.
Oh, you do already. You're like top tier Hall star in the rating.
Yes. So what we like to do for all of our Hall stars that we interview, we like to ask you, introduce yourself and to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into acting.
Cut me off if I go on too long.
No, please.
My name is Ben Rosenbaum. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I started pretty young with acting, not in any professional capacity, but when I was, I think, some of this I've heard back through my parents' stories, but I think I was about 6. And my dad took me to a play at the Children's Theater in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. And I saw a production there. I don't remember what it was, but the cool part about it is that we got to go backstage for a tour. And once I saw the other side of the curtain and walk behind the sets and get to see how things are made, I was just hooked. And I pestered my parents for about a year or so to audition for the acting, singing, dancing kind of classes that they had at the Children's Theater. And so I auditioned when I was all of 6 or 7 years old, and luckily got in. And then just did that like as my after school and extracurricular. And I played a lot of sports and stuff as well. To me, it was just another thing that I did for fun. Mm-hmm. And I did that all the way through the end of middle school, and then middle school and high school, I was doing plays at school. And it hadn't occurred to me until I started applying for colleges that it was like a life path I could take, a career I could pursue. And once that dawned on me, I was way behind the 8 ball in terms of like timing. I started to realize there were high school students who went to performing arts high schools and had been like gearing up and planning for the college auditions for years. And I had like a couple of weeks to get ready. So I rushed it all together, auditioned for a couple of schools. I was luckily accepted at the University of Minnesota, which has a BFA acting program with the Guthrie Theater, which is a great theater there in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. And I got accepted to that program. That was like conservatory style program, like 20 kids per class, and did 4 years of that, and then just went straight into theater, the professional theater world.
Amazing. So when you were in high school, what productions did you guys do? Like, what was your favorite one?
My favorite one had to be my first one that I did freshman year. I auditioned for like the big school musical. There was a black box theater where students put on their own productions, and that was always really fun to do those throughout the year when I could. But the big school musical that year was West Side Story. Oh. And I was one of only a few freshmen who even dared to audition, because there's this sort of like hierarchy of those, the oldest kids get to, do the largest parts. They've put in the time. I got in, and I played action.
Nice.
It was super fun. And it was like really formative in terms of like building the community, like the experience of finding and making friends through theater and putting on plays. And it was just, yeah, it was awesome. I was like, as I think back on it, one of my good friends, out of my like middle school best friends, 3 of them went off to a rival high school from mine.
Oh,
And then
no.
only one of them came with me to my high school, Southwest
So it was
High
a
School in
real Jets and
Minneapolis.
Sharks situation.
Yeah, except for the reverse. You had you came closer together from experience instead of further.
Yes, true. But in this case, it was like, man, it was like they were on another planet for a little while there, where I got to see them like occasionally outside of school,
Yeah.
but it was really just this one friend and me, and we would literally go eat our lunch like sitting in the stairwell because we just didn't have a ton of friends. And then after this play, I felt like my whole world opened up there. So that was really.
That's cool. Are you excited for the new movie, The West Side Story?
Oh, you know what? I don't think I was even aware of that.
Oh,
Yeah, neither was I. Rachel, what weird parts of the internet are you getting your information?
Please tell me more.
Steven Spielberg is directing a new
What?
version of West Side Story. It's coming out next year.
That does
It's gonna
sound
have
familiar.
Ansel Elgort, or whatever how you say his name, from Fault in Our
Okay,
Stars is going to be playing Tony, and they have a new girl who's playing Maria, who is amazing.
I'm a big fan of new people.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is on YouTube, and you can get a clip of her singing, and it is amazing. So I'm very excited about it.
Oh, well, color me intrigued.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of Spielberg. I'd check him out.
Yeah, the little indie director.
Mhm.
He's done a
Yeah.
few
Hope it
things.
does well at the festivals.
So I feel like
Oh, that should be
Amber
cool.
always knows about everything. So this is like a first for me that I actually am informing her about.
Well, this is the problem. I spend all of my internet research time trying to see if there's been any updates on the Wicked musical.
Oh.
Right? That movie that's been in production since like
Yeah. It'll never
2014.
I was getting pumped up listening to an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda about the In the Heights musical
Oh, yeah.
movie.
That one looks really good.
I never saw that production live, but based on the experience of Hamilton, I'm very excited to see In the Heights.
Did you get to go see Hamilton?
I have seen Hamilton.
It's so good, right?
I saw it in Chicago, and it was an amazing production. But I was like listening to the album and singing along to it well before I saw it live.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to imagine Hamilton for myself.
I saw it last year. It was amazing. Like I thought, is it going to live up to the hype? Is it really? And it did.
Yeah, totally does. The other one I would say definitely go see it live is Dear Evan Hansen.
I want to so bad.
Yeah, it's incredible. You got to see it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go in October in New York.
Oh yeah,
So fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
definitely do it. I'll put out some good vibes for you.
We'll pray to the
So,
Broadway gods that it will happen.
You mentioned your dynamic. One of you always knowing, and the other. It reminded me that I'm curious about you guys. How did you find each other? How did this come to be?
Well, it's really funny because people think that we've known each other for forever, and it's not true.
Well, that was my assumption.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm learning.
Amber, you want to tell?
Yeah,
You say
so
that?
Rachel and I actually became friends because we both love Survivor, the TV show, and we became patrons of a podcast that talks about Survivor. Rob has a podcast. And so, like, they had some podcast meetup events, and we met there.
Yeah.
And then the rest was history.
Yeah, so we followed each
Amazing.
other on Facebook. Yeah, and I have I have my own channel. I'm a movie review critic, and I
On Rotten Tomatoes. So you know she's legit.
it's true. But I called Rachel's Reviews, and I had wanted to review the Netflix series Anne with an E, and because I thought it looked really good. And so I put out on Facebook, hey, does anyone want to join me?
That's
to
the Anne of
review-
Green Gables
Yes.
Mhm.
series?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And so I put it out there on Facebook. I said, hey, anyone want to join me to talk about Anne with an E? And Amber responded, hey, yeah, I'd like to. And I said, oh, great. Okay. So we met doing a podcast. Well, no, we had met one or two other times before, but anyway, we did the podcast and we had really good chemistry and we just got along really well. And then we watched Anne with an E, and she probably regretted meeting me. But
I'm a big book fan of the Anne of Green Gables books.
Yeah.
So it does not stay true to the books.
We hated it.
I see.
We both hated it.
I was being judicious. But.
Yeah. It inspired
my mom
our
was a
wrath.
huge fan of those books.
Your mom has great taste.
Well, she's got red hair, and that always like really mattered to her. That there was this character that she really identified with.
They're the best. When I was like in that tween age is when I especially loved them. Especially Anne of the Island was my favorite. I read it over and over and over again. And anyway, I hated Anne with an E. It tried to be both a soap opera and a gritty realism story, and you can't do both. You can do one or the other. You got to pick. And
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you can't be both Lifetime and Hallmark. You got to pick one or the other.
Stay in your lane, Anne with me.
I mean, it's like you can't be, I don't know, a Tarantino film and a Hallmark movie at the same time.
No, those don't really mix.
HBO and
it could still be a Lifetime movie and a Hallmark movie. Like, let's
Christmas,
be real.
I guess.
At Christmas time, anything's possible.
Yeah.
What brought you out to, I'm assuming, Los Angeles for the screen?
Yes, I am in Los Angeles. Well, let's see. It took a circuitous route. I was in Minneapolis for about a year or two. My timeline is always timelines in general are tough for me, but the one of my own life is really.
We're not going to be able to double check you, so even if it's
yeah, I'll just make it up.
I have a quick question though. How close are Minneapolis and St. Paul? Or is that the same thing?
Like geographically?
Yeah.
Ooh, them's fighting words. Are they the same thing?
Because people always say, I watched Mary Tyler Moore for years. I mean, I've watched all of the back seasons and all the things, and they always say Minneapolis, St. Paul. I come from
yes, so that's why they're called the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
They're like just across the river from each other, so they are extremely close, like a very short drive apart. But people choose a city. You know, if you live in Minneapolis, you gotta love Minneapolis over St. Paul, and vice versa. I mean, there's no real rivalry there. It's all in good fun, but because St. Paul is beautiful and it's the capital and it's got a lot going on for it. Some kind of like, it's got some of the charm of an older city. And Minneapolis is kind of big and bustling, and in my opinion, more the center of the culture of the Twin Cities.
Oh, interesting.
And Minneapolis, home of the great Ben Rosenbaum.
That's right.
Ooh, wow. I mean, we've got a lot more I would list before me.
Have you ever been to the Mary Tyler Moore statue with her throwing her hat?
Yes, I've seen it. I haven't I haven't made a special trip to it, but it's in downtown Minneapolis, so I've seen it.
You're just like, that Mary Tyler Moore. Who cares?
I mean, I don't know if this is a shameful thing to admit, but I haven't really watched the Mary Tyler Moore show.
See,
to be fair, it's not like it's just on all the time.
No, I would have to seek it out.
Yeah.
It's so
But I don't know as a proud Minnesotan if I should have done that.
You should have, because it's very funny and you would enjoy it. So if you like watching good entertainment, and it has some of the best Christmas episodes of any show ever.
Oh,
so
awesome.
As a Hallmark fan, you should watch it.
So you'd say certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The Rotten Tomatoes critic, so her word is,
Anyway, I love it. I love the show, but I've always wondered about that because Anyway, look, that's a tangent.
Well,
But
it sounds like you should take a trip to Minneapolis to visit that statue.
I want
And
to.
on the way to the statue, check out some of the lakes, the great restaurants, cool bars.
Oh my gosh.
We got all the major sports professionally available in great new stadiums. Tons of theater.
Follow the sports, sir?
I follow the sports. Don't test me on it, but I follow the sports.
But do you support your Minnesota teams, or have you become a California boy who likes the California teams?
Minnesota all the way. Minnesota always.
Yeah.
But also, I enjoy going to a Dodgers game. You know, I'll root for the Dodgers when I'm at a Dodgers game. That's fun too.
Yeah, when in Rome. Right?
When I lived in New York, though, I did not root for the Yankees. I grew up hating the Yankees, and I just cannot get over that. So I was a Mets fan while I was in New York, but always the Twins. Also love the Vikings. I know I should really like the Wild because they're great. I'm just not a hockey guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I just assumed.
Yeah, don't tell the Canadians.
So
don't tell.
You can't be in our remake of The Cutting Edge then. Maybe.
Is that, do I have to really like it, or can I just act like it?
It's our fantasy, one of our many fantasy Hallmark movies that we frequently cast.
Can you ice skate?
Yeah. Not great, but I grew up doing it for fun.
Play the piano.
Because Brendan Zub, he's pretty high up in our casting possibilities because he's a hockey player.
Well, there you go.
Andrea Brooks is a figure skater.
That I did know.
I mean, you guys are birthday twins, so
yeah, that's true.
Also true. That was a really fun discovery when we realized that.
Did you feel a little jealous? Whenever someone has my same birthday, I'm a little bit like, but it's my special day.
Okay, so when I found out that Andrea and I were birthday twins, super excited. It was very fun because I knew that there would be, I don't know, she wasn't taking anybody away from me with that. Mm-hmm. But my cousin was having a baby, and his birthday, like her due date, was my birthday. And I was very nervous that this cute little baby would join the family on my birthday and totally steal all of my birthday love from my family. So that I was nervous about, and luckily we're just a day apart now. So yeah, I came out of that all right.
She'll expect a bigger present because
birthday too. Yes, exactly. Oh, it would have been nothing but trouble for me.
That's funny. My cousin and I have the same birthday.
Oh, actually, that's fun.
Yeah. And then I have another cousin who has it just the day before me. So it's kind of madness that week in my family. But
how did it work out? Do you feel like you get half the attention, or is it okay?
Well, I mean, my biggest grief, the saddest thing of my childhood, is that my birthday was in January because I wanted to have a pool party birthday.
Naturally, yes, of course.
Not be in the cold weather.
Yep, I feel your pain as a Minnesotan born in March.
I was so jealous of all my friends who had June and July, and still am to this day. I mean, I was really tempted to just start having my birthday be in June, because who would know the difference? Like, what does it matter? You like living in California compared to living in
Hey, we don't know how we got to California yet, young lady.
Yeah, how did you get to California?
I assume like a plane or a car, but not
ooh, that's good. Oh, I could have given a clever answer. So I'm very earnest and straightforward sometimes. So I did a play that was cast in Minneapolis. It was a co-production between a New York theater and the Guthrie, and so I was cast, and it was a national tour. So it was a traveling production of 2 Shakespeare plays. We did Romeo and Juliet and 2 Gentlemen of Verona.
Ooh. Which one, or were you in both of them?
Yes, yeah. So the whole company was double cast or cast in both shows, like repertory theater. And depending on the city we were setting down in to do the show, we would do one or the other. And it was very cool. Yeah, it was a very cool experience. It was a fun group of actors. The whole company was young actors for the most part. And we were traveling around and taking the show mostly to cities that didn't get a lot of shows coming in, none of the big Broadway shows for the most part. So, and maybe they didn't have a lot of local theater. So sometimes we were just like on a couple stops, we were in like a school, like a high school theater,
Nice.
if that makes sense, like the gymnasium with the stage kind of thing. And we would only be able to fit like half the set, and we would just have to adjust to that. But it was very cool. It was my first experience on a tour, and being on the tour bus and traveling from stop to stop, and it was a lot of fun. But anyways, so that started and ended in New York. So we rehearsed in New York, and then our final performance was at an off-Broadway theater. And when the tour finished, I just stayed. So I stayed in New York, and that's where I linked up with my first agent and started auditioning for, in New York, you can audition for everything. There's theater, regional theater, there's theater in New York if you're lucky enough to do it. And TV and film as well was growing out there. Growing. I mean, it had been there for a long time, but LA isn't the same kind of hub it used to be. It used to be like, if you want to do TV or film, you have to be in LA. Now there are so many great places where they film a lot of different productions that it's not the same central hub that it used to be. So anyway, New York was great. I was there for a few years, and I was cast out in New York to do a production that was in Colorado, and I was having this fantastic time playing the lead role on this great stage at this wonderful theater. And I was still, even though I was like super happy to be doing that, and it was kind of as good as regional theater gets, that's no shade there. I was still waking up and thinking about like, oh man, am I missing out by not being in LA auditioning for TV and film right now? So I decided I had to give it a shot.
And we're so glad you did.
Well, thank you very much.
Because we just adore you as Hickam. I mean, let me be honest. I've only seen your your other works.
Oh yeah. There's not a ton out there. I was interested to see what we would talk about outside of.
You were like,
outside of When Calls the Heart.
How do you even know about that?
Yes, exactly. Well, that was a little indie web series that a friend of mine put together. She and I worked together at the Apple store. I was working at an Apple store in LA when I first moved out here.
Were you a genius?
I wasn't. I really, and it's the first question everybody asks. I really wish I could just say yes. But no, I was like on the sales floor helping people out. And it was actually a really fun time. And I love Apple. And Apple products, so it was a really fun thing to do. And the other cool thing about it is in LA, at a job like that, everybody working there is, in the creative field in some shape or another. Actors, writers, filmmakers, choreographers, dancers. I mean, I just met so many people. It was actually a really neat networking opportunity. And so my friend Mercedes, who I'd worked with at the Apple store, after I'd left, just texted me one day and asked if I would be in her web series. And I said, of course. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And I think most of the crew that she put together, she had like met through Apple. It was, pretty amazing.
They should have really paid for it.
You know what? Retroactively, I think they should. They've got their own media service coming out now. I think they should. I think they should buy it up. It was made
They
by
should
Apple
buy it up,
employees.
put it on Apple TV. It'll be amazing.
Exactly. Pay us all a lot of money, I assume. Would be great.
But yeah, so I watched the web series a little while back because I was like, Hickam's amazing. What else has he done? And it's on IMDb.
You guys are really pumping my tires. This feels great. I can come on here anytime.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like, if you want to just start a weekly podcast where we talk about whatever you want, that's fine. But yeah, so it's really great. I think everyone should check it out. I'm not going to tell you the twist because there's a twist, and I don't want to spoil it for people. But I could feel there was a twist coming because Jared wasn't going to be what we were led to believe when we first met Jared.
Oh, bless you. That's nice. You really followed along.
I mean, I did. Yeah. And to be fair, though, for the first many episodes, I was like, I don't see Hickam at all.
Yeah.
Just be patient.
Came in at the very end there, season 1.
Yeah. And then you're just all over season 2.
Yes, of course. There is the season 2 is the follow-up where I've now been introduced. And so, yeah, so, I'm taking cues from you on not saying too much about it, but there's, I feel like,
I mean, everyone should just watch it.
I mean, it's very kind. I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a letdown in terms of like, we're building up this big twist and it's
not a big twist, but it's, know, it's fine.
Yeah, it was fun to shoot. It's always fun. It's a very cool thing to get to do. I think it's unique in my experience about LA is that there's tons of people just wanting to make stuff together. Mm-hmm. And this was one of those things where it was just it's a group of people who are all manifesting their dreams, trying to make something happen. I was very honored to be asked to be a part of it.
So how did you end up in, this whole thing in Canada? How did you end up as One Calls to the Heart?
Great question. I auditioned for the role of Hickam, and it was, at the time, it was season 1, it was just the assistant in the Mercantile. So not a ton of lines to work with. And I think I remember being asked if I was comfortable like being up on a ladder because I had to, climb up and pretend to hang his sign was like the first thing I did on set. And yeah, it was very, very straightforward in that regard. So auditioned, got it, and then was delighted when Hickam came back season 2.
Had you? Oh, so you were in that first season.
Yeah. So this is the thing. A lot of people feel like Hickam came with Lee Coulter, but he didn't. Hickam predates Lee.
No, I was a man in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, just that one or two episodes in season 1. Like you won't see me sneaking around anywhere else, but in terms of the character Hickam, yeah, he was there.
So did you think that you were just going to be doing a couple episodes and then you just got along with everybody or
I didn't know, it's a situation where, I knew he was a character in the town. Mm-hmm. And so I was hopeful that maybe they would need me again. But it wasn't, I was not certain. There was no discussion of future appearances or future episodes. And so when, I guess, season 2, when they needed a guy to be working for Lee, Hickam bounced over to the mill.
And now, did Hickam always have the first name Michael, or did that come in later?
I was just as surprised as everybody else when that name when Mike first popped up. And actually, Michael was never even like written down anywhere. That was purely Cavan Smith on set, just deciding it was written that he was going to call me Mike. And I remember him saying something like, I would never call you Mike. I'm calling you Michael. And that was it. That he just, made a unilateral decision there.
So
to
Hickam
call me
predates
Michael.
Lee, but Michael, that came after.
Entirely, yes, entirely because of Lee.
Well, see, I think Coven is something like myself then, because my family's not a nickname family. We're just not.
To be fair, she refuses to even call him Lee Coulter.
No.
She always says Leland.
His name is Leland Coulter. That's his name. And so I don't know. I just feel like it's just how it was. That's just, yeah. I mean, especially for something that's so old, it feels so weird to me to use a nickname like that. But I don't know, because we were talking to Elise Murray, and she named it was my friend. We were talking to my friend Esther, who wrote a book in the Victorian era, and she's found out that she could call a character Nathan Nate, and that was like historically accurate. So maybe I'm completely wrong with nicknames. I don't know, but
I'm sure you are. And because, like, think of all of the old-timey people named Elizabeth, like Queen Elizabeth, and they'd call her like Queen Bess.
I would never call Queen Elizabeth.
Well, you wouldn't call
I doubt anybody said it to her face. Yeah, but
like,
well out of earshot, sure.
Yeah,
on the street.
No, I did it for a long time without even thinking about it. That was just what I said. And then Amber pointed it out to me that I said that. And I was like,
because I just think it's hilarious that nobody else in the entire world calls him Leland, and she does.
Were you a family grown up where if you got the full name, like first, middle, and last, you were in trouble?
Well, half the time my mom can't even remember our names. She'll just like say all six of our names. Just be like, Rachel, Ben, whatever you are. She has no idea. So I don't know. My family, there's sort of two batches of us. There's 3 younger kids, and then there's 3 older kids. And we joke that, you always burn the first batch of cookies. It's kind of the same. And so the dynamics in my family were pretty interesting. But yeah, my mom's a very just like sweet, soft-spoken, lovely person. So we had to do something pretty bad for her to raise her voice to us. She was pretty good.
Well, I guess Leland takes after you then, because he was an absolute Michael only.
That's right. I knew it.
Situation.
It could be a major plot twist where Leland Coulter is like Rachel's grandpa, great grandpa.
Yes.
Love it. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the name. Actually, it reminded me of it's a whole thing. I feel like through the years, because in the first, even though in the script and of course in the show I'm called Hickam, the first time it was shown in the credits, it was spelled Hickman. Hickman. Yeah, that's in the episode. Like if you go back and watch those credits, it's Hickman. And that has spawned, I think, all of the confusion henceforward. I mean, it's just been like, even last year, I think it was, I went over to the prop, my flute, like I was going to get my prop out of the prop case, and I saw the flute box or case was labeled Hickman. It's like, no! I thought I left that in the past.
We're going to get that PSA we made about Hickman versus Hickam, and we'll send you stickers of them so you can just stick it on places.
I so appreciate it. Yes, all around. You're going to start to see it pop up in scenes.
So
I'll have it everywhere.
What is it like to play Hickam, to be on One Calls the Heart? What's that experience like?
Very fun. I'm really grateful that it was my first like major on-camera experience in terms of being on like a big professional set. It has been, everybody is so warm and kind and welcoming. I think in an ongoing way, but for me, that was the first experience back in season 1 and 2. And now it's just like, it feels like my Vancouver family. So I really look forward to it and love doing it. It's so fun. The time that we spend off camera is just spent laughing and joking around together. And then the actual like making of the show is really fun to do too. It's very, it's a really cool experience.
Do you have a favorite episode that you really
favorite episode? I think season 3 was super fun, because that's where Hickam really started to kind of like come into his own, in terms of being kind of established as Rosemary's like
personal assistant,
pseudo assistant. Just kind of like established him as the helpful guy in town that he has ever since been.
I do have a question about Rosemary.
Yeah.
When Rosemary first got to town, before she got married to Leland, did Hickam have a crush on Rosemary?
Totally.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, I can confirm that very easily because I was playing it to the hilt. I was really I leaned into that so much, and in my head I was like, this is my little actor secret that I'm playing him having a crush. And then I've since watched it back, and I was like, oh, that was very obvious.
I liked it a lot. I think that's when, like the first season 2 stuff, anytime Rosemary and Hickam interacted in season 2, I was like,
yeah, that was where it just made sense to me, because in season 1, as the shop clerk, like my whole role in that scene was to like notice Rosemary's beauty as she entered the mercantile and then like breezed past me. So when season 2, she was asking me to do this favor, and I was, for whatever reason, agreeing, even though it might cost me my job in my estimation. I was like, okay, he just thinks she's the most beautiful creature to ever walk the earth, and he's just gonna do whatever she asks. And then naturally that relationship grew and changed, and I think they became friends.
Yeah, I don't picture Hickam being like the guy in Love Actually with signs for Rosemary. I think
No, that ship sailed long ago.
But speaking of ships, we would really love for Hickam to get a romance. Everybody else has romances.
I think I think he would be a really sweet and funny and fun person to watch in a courtship. So I agree.
But like honestly, on our podcast, pretty much any single woman that comes on the screen, we're like, she should date Hickam. They should get Hickam.
Well, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. It's nice to know that you're out there rooting for him.
We have a large component of people who are like, where's Katie Yost? Why are they not married yet?
Oh, yeah.
Grace now. He could have a long distance relationship with Grace from When Hope Calls.
Yeah, from When Hope Calls. I like this. I like how creative you're being.
We also talked about having a web series where Hickam solves mysteries.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We really good.
Like if the writers are like, what should we do with Hickam? Just
how
like a little think tank.
Hallmark movies and mysteries stuff, they always have like solving mysteries is something they just fall into. They have like they've got their way in like through their job, like flower shops or garage sales or whatever. What do you think Hickam's would be?
There could be like somebody stole the oil next season. I don't know.
But now that you work for Henry Gowan, you guys could be like the grumbling partners.
Hickam could never be the grumbling partner.
It would be great. Well, he could.
I
be
would love. You know
Bartley
what? I'll
Carter.
sign up for that though. That like if we're the Statler and Waldorf
Yes.
of Hope Valley. You guys remember them from the Muppets?
Yes.
Yes.
The old guys heckling. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be great. How do you think that's going to go with Hickam working for Gowan? Do you think that's going to go well?
Well, I can say with a clear conscience that I have no idea what's going to happen next season. So anything that I say is pure speculation. And I'm going to say it's going to go great. Hickam's going to get everything he wants and needs. It's going to be wonderful.
And he's gonna get a girlfriend? Yes.
Sure, let's say that. We're just dreaming right now.
Possibly becomes the mayor.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, well, with this Dynamite T-shirt campaign, I don't see how he could lose.
Do you think that Hickam would become a good mayor?
I think genuinely, yes, I think so. I think his instinct is to help and to serve people, and to be a public servant would be a really excellent use of his natural abilities. He's shown some backbone. I think he's also always been very honest and genuinely helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes.
Because he
I don't
still,
know.
Yeah, he could still work for Gowan and be mayor because Abigail could still run the cafe and be mayor. So
very true. Very true.
So don't be surprised when all that stuff that you just said becomes a campaign ad for it.
Oh man, it's fun. It's fun to talk about, but I hesitate to border on campaigning for anything on the show because I'm genuinely excited by the things that the writers come up with, and whatever they do is going to be
whatever
great.
they do.
Yeah.
But it's the off season.
Well, and you guys can campaign all you like. That's out of my hands. So thank you for that.
we know that they regularly listen. No, just kidding.
They don't listen.
But
they've
fun.
Looked at Rotten Tomatoes before that. We do know.
Ooh, Rachel, this is where you have the power.
Ooh, yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes be like, pretty good, but if Hickam were mayor, super fresh.
Yeah. See, I've got to somehow get them to make Hallmarkies podcast approved, because if they did, then I would be I would have so many reviews for Hallmark movies, because I don't usually review them on my other channel, and but because it's really funny, because right now, because I have a family movie night series, and I like to review the Barbie movies on there. So I think I'm the only critic on Rotten Tomatoes that has 12 of the Barbie movies reviewed on my.
Amazing.
And so
own that niche.
If I added, I just got to figure out a way to get all these. I'd have 250 Hallmark movies, or crazy.
And we already have them, a lot of them rated and quantifiably. So
I know we got our spreadsheet.
Anyway, back to Hickam, who's the most important my show.
I will say the switch to, I don't know if this is eventually a question you were going to ask, but when I first read the script that contained the scene where Hickam decides to leave, I was crushed. I was so sad, because the Coulters have really been a definitive relationship for Hickam on the show. So it was, initially I was like, what? No, he would never. How could we do this? And then I just grew to like the change. I realized that I was when it comes to TV and telling stories, there's nowhere to go if you don't give characters the opportunity for change and growth. So now I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yes, and maybe it's just due to your brilliant performance, but I didn't question that decision even for a second, because I was like, it makes perfect sense with how he's, doing these things. He's growing. So you sold me on the motivation. So
Oh, thank you.
Way
That
to go,
means
sir.
a lot. I felt like most people were pretty upset with me on Twitter.
Well, although to be fair, I also am a bit of a Henry Gowan stan, so
Mm.
it was like
Yeah.
my two favorite boys are gonna be best friends.
Tell Martin Cummings that we need to have him on the podcast as well.
Oh, I'll let him know. I'll let him know that people
Especially
are
Amber.
eagerly waiting to hear from him.
He's a huge fan.
I mean, because I've been
He's a
defending
great guy.
Henry Gowan since like season 1, episode 1, and everyone's
He's
like,
so fascinating, right?
he's the
No, he's a great character. He's such a complicated, fun character.
right.
And Martin plays him so well. And he's an awesome guy to get to act with. He's such a veteran. So to get to watch him do his thing is really fun.
Yeah.
The same was true
That's a good one.
for Cavan and Pascal as well. I mean, I loved, and I hope to get to continue to work with them because it's nothing but laughter and fun, and they're so great.
When you did the oil scene where you got all covered with oil,
Oh yeah.
what was that like? Was it just kind of goo or?
Yeah, it was actual oil, just not crude. It was almond oil and some hair oil and some kind of body oil, and it was all. Each department had to handle their own bit of the oil. So like hair and makeup had 2 different oils that they each had to kind of like figure out and find, and then wardrobe. Along with, I think, props, maybe, or maybe set deck. I forget. But there was a group that, along with wardrobe, had to come up with like a big bucket of it to dump on my clothes and stuff. And it was a massive team effort by the crew, and they did everything they could to make me as comfortable as possible. But it was still. It was rough to stay in that stuff for a long time. Like it was just in my eyes nonstop. It was dripping into my mouth. It was, and I couldn't sit down. It was like no way to be comfortable. I don't even do well with having I like to wash my hands. Like if I eat a sandwich and it drips on my hands, I can't stand it. I got to get up and wash my hands immediately. So like being covered head to toe in food grade oil was like living a nightmare, but the acting of it was super fun.
Yeah.
Did you a little bit feel like you were in the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, like I'd just gotten slimed.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, yeah, I guess that must be kind of what it's like, except I bet that stuff was even nastier. They took great care of me. I was, like everybody was checking in with me. It was probably really nice, it was very nice, but I'm imagining on the set of Ghostbusters, it was probably, when was that? Was that the 80s?
Yeah, it's like 84, 85, something like that.
Yeah, I bet I bet it was not. I bet it was not as nice. Whatever they put on them.
So, did you just have like one take of that? You just running, oil, being so excited, or did you have to do that a couple times, or?
Oh yeah, no, we did it a lot. I think they realized like they're not gonna like have me in and do that all over again if they miss something.
Uh-huh.
So not only did we do a bunch of takes of what you ended up seeing, but there are tons of takes of like they wanted to try it, me running behind. I forget what they call them. A badger? No, that's probably wrong. A mongoose? No, it's one of the four, like the one of the 4x4s that they have all rigged up to hold a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like tearing down the road, and I was chasing after it, running nearly full speed and like whooping it up and jumping around, and that never made it. That didn't end up in the show. And they did a bunch of different angles of me running in. It was all day. It was just like nonstop running in oil.
If the editors want to release a special bonus for my birthday, just like 20 minutes of that.
Yeah.
You're putting a call out?
Yeah.
Just if they wanted to, entertain the public in the off season. Just Hickam being excited.
So I'm curious to know, so when they were having to re-edit this whole season and everything, like how much reshoots did they do? Do you know? I mean, were you involved in that, or did you know that?
I was not. No, I was
Okay.
not involved. I was very impressed by the final product, though.
Yeah.
We honestly all season were like, I mean, look at this production team. This is amazing. And the turnaround
what
time,
they do is
it was
amazing.
ridiculous.
I mean, it was seamless. I was shocked that they pulled that off. It was very impressive.
There was much
The
trepidation.
crew on the show is really fantastic, and the whole, the producers and the network, everybody, they do a really good job, and they're all, they all want the best for the show, and so I think they all banded together and did a really nice job.
I have a quick question, because it seems to me like you might have a guess, or would maybe know. How did Hickam come to Hope Valley? Was he is he like he was born there?
You guys, I thought of a whole backstory for Hickam, and I don't know. I feel like I should leave it a mystery. I don't think
leave it for the.
I feel like it's not my place to share his whole backstory. Because what if they decide to write me one on screen? But yes, I've got an idea. I will say I think he's always been in town, but that's
all you'll say.
That's all I feel like, because if I could share my whole thing and people could be like, oh, that ruins Hickam for me. Or if they end up, allowing Hickam to share it in a moment of, in a moment with Gowan or something, I would hate to contradict myself later.
Well, you got to save something for the Hardy's fan fiction, so it's good.
Right.
Why have I never written Hickam fan fiction?
I don't know.
Fan fiction before, but I feel like I'm prime for it.
I think so.
Oh man, well you have my email, so send it right to my inbox.
Just send it right to you, the Hickam's Mysteries.
We have a little thing we like to end our interviews on. We call them the Teen Beat questions.
Okay.
And
Remember
Amber,
Teen Beat magazine?
Yeah.
By name. I don't think I ever subscribed. Yeah, I don't remember getting a monthly issue or weekly or whatever they were, but sure, yeah, I know of it. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, that kind of thing.
That's right. JTT, Devin Sawa, Andrew Keegan.
Of course. Did it come with fold-out posters you could put on your wall?
Oh, indeed.
Sure.
With those nice creases.
Sure. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Mm-hmm.
The first question is, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip? No. I'm going to say Oreo, specifically from Sebastian Joe's ice cream shop in Minneapolis. Check it out.
Whoa, look at you. They better send you some free ice cream.
I hope so. I hope they're listening.
When I do my Mary Tyler Moore tour, I'll make sure to go there. That sounds
Absolutely. Good. Sebastian Joe's, you got to try it.
Okay. So what is your favorite color?
Terracotta comes to mind. That's probably that sounds pretentious. That's sort of like a peachy orange. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I liked terracotta.
Great. All right, terracotta.
Yeah, just trust your instincts.
Own it. Okay. That's good life advice for me, actually.
All right. What music are you into right now?
I do a lot of Apple playlists, and I've been listening to acoustic hits.
Uh-huh.
So that's oftentimes songs that you would hear on the radio, but the acoustic version of them.
Oh, right. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Okay. What is your go-to date night food?
Oh, go-to date night food.
You really want to charm the lady.
I feel like sushi is a good choice there.
Yeah.
Because it's delicious and light, but also looks really pretty.
Yeah.
And it's also it's already in bite sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is your favorite go-to date night activity out on the town? Fun.
And she said out on the town. You don't have to go out on the town.
Yeah. Favorite date night activity. That would be, food. Getting food.
Yeah.
And I think I would want to put a little bit of a twist on it. So like a picnic in a nice place. And this is,
Yeah.
To share a little tidbit about me, I'm not huge about sitting on the ground. I don't often enjoy it. So this would be me really putting myself out there to pick a nice location and do something just a little above,
Oh.
in terms of effort.
You could always
finding
just
a nice
sit
spot.
at one of those tables at the park. That'd be like
There you go. See?
Yeah, see.
As a team, we're great at dating. If the three of us
It's true.
If the three of us put our heads together, we can
next
solve
time you were like,
any problem.
what should I do? Just shoot us a DM on Twitter, Hallmarkies Pod. We'll be like, we'll proofread your date for you. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. So dogs or cats? Which one do you like?
Oh, dogs or cats? Oh, thank you. I thought you said, so Dr. Katz, which was there was that old cartoon like on Comedy Central or something. I think he was called Dr. Katz.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, what's this going to be?
I didn't see this coming. What
Yeah, well, I am not prepared for whatever's about to happen. Dogs. Yeah,
Okay,
dogs.
good. All right.
I grew up with both dogs and cats, but dogs are my heart.
Yeah. Okay. Beaches or mountains?
That's a teen beat question? That's one of my favorite conversation questions. I bring that up all the time when I'm meeting new people at
Were
like
you
a
secretly an
dinner
editor
party.
for Teen Beat magazine?
I guess great teen minds think alike. I don't know. I'm a mountains guy. I feel a sense of awe when I'm in the mountains.
Okay, good. All right. Would you rather be in a suit and tie or sweats?
Or rather be, well, of course it's situation specific, but I'll just I'll say suit and tie.
Oh, love that. Very nice.
You are in great company, sir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. All of the guys choose, not all the guys, all the good ones choose suit and tie.
Oh, well, I'm honored. Yeah, no, look good, feel good. I enjoy a suit and tie.
I do love a man in a suit. It's just a good look. All right. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
I'm sure everybody says Christmas, right?
Mostly.
I really I enjoy Christmas is fantastic because I get to be in Minnesota and see the snow for like a couple of weeks and then get back out to LA and enjoy the sun. But Thanksgiving is my definite favorite. It's when the whole like extended family, everybody gathers in Philadelphia for football and food and it's wonderful. Yeah, it's like a family reunion.
Last question. You're almost done. Last question is, what is your favorite Hallmark movie?
Also, this one was not a Teen Beat question.
We
made that one up.
Yeah, and you can pick one of the Win Call.
I assume that wasn't that. Yeah, the Teen Beat demographic is not necessarily the same as the Hallmark fans.
Yeah, you can pick Win Call's the Heart one.
And if you want to choose Christmas Inheritance, even though it's Netflix, we'll allow it.
I would never. No, but it's an easy one for me. It would be Cavan's movie, the one that he wrote and starred in. Love on the Menu. Yes, I got to read an early draft of that script even when he was writing it, and I've loved it since then.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's in my top 5 for the year so far.
And I was just besides it being a good movie, I was just so excited for him to take that on, the writing of it, and to put himself in a position where he gets to show off his cooking skills. I think it's fantastic.
Well, you have been a delight. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
So have both of you.
Oh,
yeah,
stop.
Thank you. No, it was fun.
Stop.
It's a fun chat. It's a fun, having a gab.
So we want to let everybody know that they can purchase their Hickam for Mayor t-shirts on our store, at our TeePublic store.
Yes, please do, because proceeds go to the National MS Society.
Yes, and that would
courtesy
be amazing.
Of your generosity.
Well,
so, yeah,
we couldn't feel good about selling your face for money.
So it could be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'll tell my lawyers to stand down. They won't.
So how can people follow you on social media, all that fun stuff?
So on Twitter, I am Ben Rose, but the E's are threes. My birthday being March 3rd, I use 2 3s there. So B3NROS3. And on Instagram, pretty sure that's just Ben Rosenbaum, Ben_Rosenbaum. Pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Great.
And I think for Hardee's, mostly I get to interact with them on Twitter. So find me there.
And I just have to say, I thought I was going to say this earlier, but I forgot. You are the best at Twitter of all of the Hardee's.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much. That's a high honor. I work with some very funny people. That's
You
great.
do, but your Twitter, when it is time for a new episode, is just like on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I love watching live and giving hot takes.
Yeah. So, well, we really appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to do it again for sure.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much.
When you inevitably get
a pleasure.
The Hickam Mysteries series.
Right, of course. Well, then I'll have to come on just to say thank you for spawning the idea.
And then hopefully when you get your own lead rom-com movie.
Oh, wow. Well, from your lips to Bill Abbott's ears.
That's what we hope. We hope
do that. So thanks again. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed this. And thank you for being so kind to me on my first podcast out.
You were amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Well, say hi to everybody in Hope Valley for us.
I will. I'll let them know. This is a fun place to have a chat.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Take care, guys. Thanks again.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks so much to Ben for coming on the podcast. We had a great time. And make sure you guys are checking out our Patreon. It's really fun. We do monthly live watch. Like we mentioned, we have those Hickam for Mayor shirts as well as our Postables shirts that are starting. So a lot of fun stuff. We have the links all in the description. And Amber, how can people find you?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's really fun. And make sure you guys are following the podcast all over social media, on iTunes, YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us your ratings and reviews. If you're listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll also have in the description section our playlist with all of our When Calls the Heart content. So that's really, really fun. And thanks so much for listening, you guys. We really appreciate it. And make sure if you have any comments, then check out our feedback show and send your emails to feedback@hallmarkiespodcast.com and our phone number at 801-855-6407. We love getting your feedback. So thanks so much. And we will talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
This podcast was brought to you by Hallmarkies for Hallmarkies. For more information about how you can leave your mark on Hallmarkies, visit hallmarkiespodcast.com. Link in the description.